My current favorite attention-getting basketball. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
Vibe killers, no vibe killers. I'm outside with the real entralist. I'm lit, whip on sick. I'm in my zone, so the kid don't miss. Stay in my lane, do my thing. Never complain. I don't need no trip, okay?
Today I'm starting a new series about my current favorite basketballs for X, Y, and Z categories. The most popular videos on this channel are my basketball review videos, but because I'm a small, tiny one-man channel, getting like 5 new basketballs every summer and reviewing them isn't really financially viable. And while in the future I will continue to review new basketballs, until we get to that point, we're going to start this series about what my current favorite basketballs that I already have are. I get questions about different basketballs on this channel on a regular basis. Most of those questions are about basketballs that I've never even heard of before, because you gotta take into mind that like there's dozens if not hundreds of like outdoor basketballs on any given store shelf at any given time. There's no possible way that I'm going to be able to review even like 60% of them. So when you guys ask questions about basketballs, most of the time I've never heard of them, let alone used them. I do have a playlist of the basketballs I have already reviewed and used. I do know about those basketballs, but they are a limited number of basketballs. I can answer like general questions about basketballs that I haven't used, like, hey, take a look at this basketball on this website and tell me what you think. You know, do you think it'd be good for me for these uses? I can do that, but I can't actually tell you, about basketballs that I actually haven't used yet. So until I do make those new basketball review videos, let's start this series today talking about my favorite current basketball that I think will get you the best attention. I do admit that this is kind of the most arbitrary category I could think of, but that's where I wanted to sort of start and then work my way towards the more serious category. So let's start today with the best attention-getting basketball. To start off with, let's talk about what I mean by attention-getting, because I know that probably sounds like you're trying to show off, but it's not anything like that. It doesn't have anything to do with arrogance. It doesn't really have anything to do with like ego or being egotistical. What I mean by getting attention is like when you're talking about outdoor recreational basketball, which this channel is about, right? Since there are no trophies, there are no stats, there's no championships, right? Really all we have is our reputation, like what other players think of us, and have we earned and established a certain level of respect with them. But we can't even sort of establish that kind of reputation in the first place without first getting some kind of notice from other players, especially strangers, players that we've never seen or played with before. And especially like if you're a beginner, my philosophy is like get any attention, any notice you can by any positive basketball means necessary. And that could be something as small as like what kind of basketball you show up to the park with. Because I don't know about where you live, but around here, outdoors at the local parks, you see mostly like plain old orange or brown basketballs. Maybe sometimes you see plain old all black basketballs, but that's usually all you see. And you're not caught off guard. You're not, nothing catches your eye when you see a brown or orange or black basketball. Nothing special about those basketballs. They don't stand out in any way. And that's the great thing about the color scheme of this basketball, because it gets attention. It catches the eye without looking childish or amateur, meaning it's not like, it doesn't have super crazy cartoonish colors like swirling around the ball. It's not like tie-dye or anything like that. It's not like glow in the dark. It doesn't have that weird green white color to the seams or anything like that. It just stands out because it's two-toned, and it's probably the brightest, like most contrasting two-tone color you could have. And so when you're talking about getting attention, catching the eye, something that contrasts as well as this ball does, using these bright, contrasting colors, and it doesn't look amateurish, it doesn't look like a kid's ball. It still looks like a serious basketball, especially because of the color scheme of the ball, right? It's not like the panels are like yellow, black, right? That would be kind of I mean, that'd be fine, but it stands out more because it's like this whole panel right here, like these 4 panels, and then these 4 panels, you know, they contrast each other in a way where it still, to me, looks kind of professional-esque, right? It looks still like serious, like you still have a serious basketball, not a silly child's basketball, but an actual, you know, basketball with an actual like serious color scheme to it. And that's important because if you show up and you got a tie-dye basketball with weird colors like splashed all over the place and it kind of looks like a cartoon basketball, you're not gonna really be taken seriously. That could give off the wrong impression, like, oh, you don't really take this serious because you got this weird child cartoon looking basketball. And hopefully that's kind of all you need, right? That's all you need to sort of get you in the proverbial door out here, just get you some attention. Like, the idea is you bring this ball to the court, you're kind of sending the message, even if it's subconsciously, like, this is still a serious ball, but yet I'm not your average ordinary player because I don't have your ordinary brown or orange basketball. This is a different kind of basketball, and yet it's still meant to be taken seriously. So now let's talk about how you can use that attention that you hopefully get from this ball to improve your status out here at the park. You can check out my actual review for this ball right here, but in terms of performance of this ball, just know that I'm not going to endorse you to use any basketball out here just because it looks good, but it doesn't perform well. The performance of this basketball is completely solid. There's nothing extraordinary about it, there's nothing special about it, there's nothing great about it, but there's also nothing bad to say about it either. It works and performs and feels exactly the way you would expect a hybrid like composite leather and rubbery feeling basketball to look, feel, and perform. So you can use this ball with no problem, but there is a caveat because we're talking about like using this ball to send a message, right? The message being, I'm a serious player, and yet and still I'm different than your ordinary player out here for positive reasons. That way you should want me to play with you, you should want me to be on your team. If you're using this ball specifically, using certain color schemes, like a bet, not necessarily this specific basketball or this specific color scheme of this basketball, any basketball that you're using to try to stick out in positive ways to get a positive attention to yourself, if that's your intention, then you have to have elements of your game that back up that intended sent message. That doesn't mean you have to be a great player, an extraordinarily good player, like overall all-around player, but because the message is I'm serious and yet I stick out for positive reasons, your game has to reflect that in some way. When you get on the court, you gotta back that message up. If you're a beginner, you can do that with your energy, effort, and hustle, but you have to stick out positively when you do that, meaning you do have to stick out from other players. You do have to hustle more than other players. You have to have more energy, more effort than other players. You have to stick out in positive ways above and beyond other players if you're going to use this ball to send that message. And then if you're an intermediate player or above, now you have a whole myriad of options of ways that you can, stick out more than the average player out here. You just have to figure out what that is for your game. Maybe it's one thing, maybe it's multiple things, maybe it's, different things that you can put together that then allow you to stick out. But whatever it is, you have to back up the message that you're sending with this ball that I'm a serious player and I stick out in positive ways better and more than just your average player out here. Thus, you should play with me, you should want me on your team. If you're not to the point yet where you don't have anything of your game that, at least that you're aware of, that makes you stand out in positive ways yet, I would recommend that you don't use a ball like this, that you don't use a ball that makes you stick out. Don't use a ball that's going to send that message if you can't back it up on the court. Because if that's what you do, then if you show up to the court with a ball that sends that kind of message and then you don't back it up, you're probably going to hurt your game. You're going to make backwards progress because even if it's subconsciously, even if the message is tiny and almost insignificant, right? That you are serious, but you stick out in positive ways. If you don't live up to that message, then players may start to think of you as being fraudulent, right? Being a wannabe. It's like talking trash and then not backing it up. Like, it's better to not talk trash at all, so you don't have to back it up and then look bad because of it, than to talk trash, fall on your face, not be able to live up to that trash talk and make yourself look silly. To me, it's better to not do that at all than to do that and fail in that way. That's usually I encourage failure, right? Trying something, failing, learning, getting better. But in this case, you don't want to fail when it comes to like making yourself look bad, look fraudulent, look like a wannabe, look like a faker. So if you're not to the point yet where you have something that's going to make yourself stick out in positive ways that, you know, above and beyond other players out here, just don't use a basketball like this yet. But once you do notice, oh yeah, there's this thing about my game that makes me different in this really great way compared to the average player out here, then yeah, get you a ball like this, go to my affiliate links, get you this ball or any, you know, colorway of this ball that you want. It's going to stick out for you, and then use it to bring positive attention to yourself. That's why this SENSTON ball is my current favorite attention-getting basketball. I admit this is not the most innovative way to, you know, improve your game out here on the court, but this is where I'm starting the series. I acknowledge and admit this is kind of the most arbitrary category that I could think of, but that's where I wanted to start and then get more serious from here. The whole thing is like, just if you're, especially if you're a beginner, just you want to get on the court. You want to do whatever you can to give yourself a chance to get on the court and get experience and repetition. And however positive way you can go about doing that, you should, whatever you need to do to get in the door, that's what you should do. And if it comes down to having a different but yet serious looking basketball that helps you get on the court with players that are better than you to give you that chance, then why not give that a shot? And this SENSTON basketball is probably one of the better basketballs that's going to allow you to do that. Not only does it look good and look serious, but it also performs perfectly well. You can play with this ball, you can practice with this ball. It's going to give you consistent performance throughout. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, if you think it's going to help you bring positive attention to you, to your game, to help you get more court time out here at your local parks, then please subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you hit that thanks button down below. When you hit that button, when you make a comment to let me know what your favorite way to get attention for you and yourself and your game, when you make that comment down below after hitting that thanks button, all of your comments are going to be highlighted. So all of your comments are going to stick out in a positive way from all the other comments. So anyone who hits that thanks button, know I greatly, definitely appreciate it. As always, like, share, comment, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any video go live on this channel. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.
They must think I came to play. I drop bombs and I make it rain. You can't speak to me. All of the lights that gon' lead to me. Part of your mind, I do it frequently. Good vibes and love, what it needs to be. If you wanna come hang, do it decently. Man, it's that time, cause everyone welcome. Someone fall down, then everyone helps them. The party don't stop till I hear a pin drop. Tick tock, welcome.